Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Channels Television, celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. This is the news at 10, and here's a reminder of our major stories tonight. History beckons as the world's most advanced democracy votes tomorrow. Still an open contest between the Republican candidate Donald Trump and the Democratic Party flag bearer Hillary Clinton. President Buhari makes landmark visit to Benin City, perhaps the last under Governor Adams Oshomole. And Chief of Army Staff blames recent high-profile attacks in the northeast on the support of the insurgents by some individuals. Just a quick reminder to you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do log on to m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Besides the news and updates, the Channels TV app has an eyewitness feature. We encourage you to use it to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and then follow the instructions. Now, we are keeping a close eye on the U.S. presidential elections. We have a team of correspondents as we cover the elections all day tomorrow through the eyes of our correspondents, Ayotunde Balogun in Washington, and also Maria Bird in Washington, D.C., Seun Okinbaloye in Wisconsin, and Adeshewa Josh in New York. Just again to recap and tell you where we will be covering the elections from, where our eyes will be, including everywhere else. We have Ayotunde Balogun in Washington, D.C., as well as Maria Bird, also in Washington, Seun Okinbaloye in Wisconsin, and Adeshewa Josh in New York, all day tomorrow as Channels Television brings you coverage of the U.S. presidential elections. So do join us for that. The president was given a rousing welcome today in Benin City as he makes a state visit to Edo State. At the Central Hospital in Benin, President Muhammadu Buhari was received by a powerful delegation of federal and state government officials, party chieftains, traditional rulers and other residents of the state. His first assignment was commissioning of a hospital, where he applauded the Edo State Governor Adams Oshomole for the completion of the facility. And on his part, the governor said the hospital is a dream come true.
A colourful airport ceremony to welcome the president to Benin City. Party elders gather in groups, chatting away as they eagerly await the president's arrival. Alighting from the plane, President Muhammadu Buhari inspects the guard of honor mounted by the men of the Nigerian army. Next up for the president is the palace of the Oba of Benin, where the royal father, Oba Eware II, makes an appeal for the resuscitation of the Gelegele seaport.
To the federal government, under the able leadership of Mr. President, for support in the transformation of Gelegele into an export processing zone, especially for agro-allied industries. This should in no small measure create employment for our teaming unemployed youths, promote more business activities in the state, and by logical extension, contribute positively to the economy of the country.
The president is not new in Benin City, but perhaps what is unique about this visit is that he is here at a time the state governor, Adams Oshomole, is rounding off his tenure. And as part of his parting gift to the people of Edo State, the president commissions the magnificent new Central Hospital, as well as other projects executed by the governor.
My view is public health care facilities should not be inferior to private healthcare facilities, and that we must begin to think big and think clearly about our future.
The way he told us how he came about it, I think this is the best way, the best thing he can do for the people here. All I can say is thank the governor for really making his presence in Edo State go into history.
At Siluko Road, President Buhari cuts the tape to commission the project alongside the governor of Edo State and the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress. The president ends today's assignment with an inspection visit to the Queen Ide erosion reclamation site.
All right, let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Linda Akigbe. Hey, Linda.
Hello, Ijoma. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, has restated that any judicial officer standing trial for alleged corruption will cease to perform judicial functions until such an officer establishes his or her innocence. Justice Mohammed said this in Abuja during the swearing-in of the newly appointed justices of the Supreme Court, Justice Amina Oge and Justice Ejembieko. He explained that it is expedient for judicial officers standing trial to be given ample time to clear their name.
A common thread that runs through all judiciaries in the judicial officers are traditionally accorded the highest dignity and respect by all. This is because justice is rooted in confidence. And where confidence in our judges is undermined and independence eroded, it is the nation that ultimately suffers most when true democracy is fatally undermined. Certainly, the decision of the National Judicial Council at its last meeting reflects our desire to preserve this independence. Hence, we proclaim to the world that any judicial officer that is standing trial will cease to perform his judicial functions. The Council took this stand following communication it received from the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice that he was embarking on a prosecution of the affected judicial officers for offenses disclosed against them from evidence on the ground.
And staying with the judiciary, the trial of a Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, by the Code of Conduct Tribunal on charges of false declaration of assets has resumed after a one-month recess. At the resumed hearing, the chief prosecution witness, Mr. Michael Wetkas, was cross-examined on the mode of payment for the property purchased by the Senate President in 2006. On the cross-examination by the defense counsel, Mr. Paul Osoro, Wetkas said Senator Saraki did declare a year after he purchased the properties that they were financed with a loan he took from a commercial bank. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor has more.
Lawyers, supporters of the Senate President, arrive in the Code of Conduct Tribunal after about a month of recess. Shortly after, the Senate President arrives in the company of more supporters and makes his way into the court. Inside, he exchanges pleasantries. Soon after, the proceedings commenced. On the cross-examination by counsel to the Senate President, Mr. Paul Osoro, the chief prosecution witness read out charge number 2, which alleged that the Senate President declared that he purchased the properties in Ikoyi, Lagos State from proceeds of a food commodities company when he purchased it with loan from a commercial bank. He was then asked to read the asset declaration form of the Senate President for the year 2007, and Mr. Wetkas agreed that the form indicated that the properties were bought with a loan from the bank. He was, however, quick to add that 4 years after, in 2011, the same properties were declared to have been acquired from proceeds from the commodity business of the Senate President. The witness was then asked to read the bank statement of the defendant, and he read that the loan obtained to purchase the properties in dispute had been liquidated prior to the 2011 asset declaration by the Senate President. He insisted that the manner in which the loan was repaid contravened the Money Laundering Act. But when counsel to the Senate President asked if the offense was that of money laundering and that the tribunal should not be the court to try Dr. Saraki, the prosecutor, Rotimi Jacobs, raised an objection, arguing that earlier during examination in chief, it was proven that the money used to repay the loan was given to some people by the Senate President in the Kwara State Government House. While the defense says it has made significant progress in debunking the testimonies of the prosecution witness, the prosecutor accuses the defense of wasting time.
The criticality of this case demands that one be thorough in cross-examination. And that is what we have struggled to do to the best of our ability. Now, the good news is we are getting to the end of that process. And I think we're going to conclude very, very shortly.
How can you say we are making progress in that kind of situation? How can you say because you just want to be thorough? That's why you are taking that kind of... It shows motive. It shows that the motive to delay this case and to ensure that the matter did not proceed.
Still ahead on the news at 10, FMDQ prescribes steps to stabilizing the naira at the forex market. That's on Business News. Join us again.